This is X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports and Network. Great to have you riding along with us. I think we should have the stream up and running. Talk to Ryan in the break. Thinks that we are good to go. He's got two hamsters that have to run really fast in these wheels, and when the hamsters run fast enough in the wheels, it gives us enough electricity and power. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Now we're up and running. That's beautiful. But great to have you, riding along with us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening. Folks, golf season might have come to a close, but it's not too late or even perhaps too early to start thinking about 2024 and booking a stay and play at the beautiful Tullymore Golf Resort in Canadian Lakes, Michigan. We actually have a golf topic this morning that we will be getting to. Located in Canadian Lakes, that's an hour north of Grand Rapids, 30 minutes west of Mount Pleasant. It's easy to get to no matter what direction you are coming from. Plus, Tullymore not only features top-of-the-line golf, but also top-of-the-line accommodations and the perfect space for your wedding event, reception, and group outing. So visit TullymoreGolf.com, TullymoreGolf.com, or call 1-800-972-4837. That's 1-800-972-4837. Book your stay and play at Tullymore today. Now, I don't know if you guys looked at the schedule at all for tonight, but we got an absolute barn burner doozy taking place here a little bit later this evening. By the way, I wanted to mention that we had a couple of massive deals in Major League Baseball. We got the winter meetings going on, and I didn't get to this in the headline, so let me slide this in here real quick because I would feel terrible if I didn't. Why? I don't know. The Yankees have acquired Juan Soto in a 7-player trade. 7-player trade. Juan Soto is leaving the Padres. Slam Diego is no more. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that Juan Soto, it feels like he's been around forever because he has. But he is just 25 years old. So the Yankees, 7-player deal, Juan Soto in New York. Left-hander, former Tiger, Eduardo Rodriguez, and the Arizona Diamondbacks reached a 4-year, $80 million deal. This one I can't figure out either. This is pending a physical. The 30-year-old opted out of the final 3 years of his deal with the Tigers. He was 13-9 last year. I don't understand, whatever happened. Why would you go to the Dodgers? Or why wouldn't you go to the Dodgers but go to the Diamondbacks? That doesn't make a lot of sense. You said you wanted to stay over here because of your family, and that's why you nixed the Dodgers trade. Now I got more questions about that. But E-Rod is gone. That's unfortunate. And Jeimer Candelario, you guys remember him, the Candyman. He and the Reds have reached a 3-year, $45 million deal. So a couple former Tigers there. The 30-year-old was non-tendered by the Tigers following the 2022 season, rebounded well in 2023 for the Nationals, and he will now find himself in a Cincinnati Reds jersey. So back to the original topic at hand. But just because I didn't get to those 3 stories in the headlines, it's kind of a. I felt like those were kind of big. Probably should share stuff like that tonight on Prime Video. Thursday Night Football is going to get the New England Patriots, who are 2-10 on the year. They just have one more win than the Carolina Panthers. Hey, speaking of Carolina, Chris Wormley will join us coming up at 7:35. The New England Patriots travel to the Pittsburgh Steelers at 8:15 over on Amazon Prime. Pittsburgh is a 6-point favorite of this game, and they've placed the total points, the over-under, at 32.5. Now, although the Patriots have lost their last 5 consecutive games, the Steelers, coming off of that dreadful home loss against the Arizona Cardinals, 24-10, they are 3-2 in their last 5. The reason I bring this game up is because for whatever reason, probably because of Kenny Pickett, but whatever the case may be, and the fact that the Steelers' offense has just been god-awful this year. Just god-awful. They are atrocious. They have only scored 192 points, right? That's barely above teams like the Jets, the Patriots. They're the 3rd worst offense in the AFC. Here's a team that has scored less points in the NFC. Think about the New York Giants, or at 191, the New Orleans Saints. Right there in that same category. So that's what we're looking at with Pittsburgh. However, this Thursday night football game, although on paper looks awful, and it probably will be, this is a massive game for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like, I don't know if anybody's been paying attention here, but as we start to wind down, 13 weeks into the season already, like, it's week 14 this week. There's not a lot of time left, and the Pittsburgh Steelers right now are tied with the Cleveland Browns in the AFC North at 7-5. And the Cincinnati Bengals are right there as well at 6-6 with the Buffalo Bills and the Denver Broncos. They're all right there. Pittsburgh, like the way that we have discussed the Pittsburgh Steelers, because of their, having to fire an offensive coordinator because they can't score the football. You have Najee Harris. You still can't run it effectively. They're still 7-5, and they're having what feels like one of the worst seasons in franchise history. And they're still in the 5th seed. Like, that is wild to me. The AFC North right now, with the Browns at 6, the Steelers at 5, and the Baltimore Ravens at 2, have 3 teams in the AFC playoff picture. You know who else has 3 teams in the playoff picture? The NFC North, who everybody was clowning. Oh, it's the Lions division in a runaway. Oh, the division's awful. Oh, this, that, and the third. Guys, 2 out of the 3 wild card teams are both from the NFC North. So while, like, and I know that, the division's down. The division might not be the same, that Kirk Cousins got hurt and that Aaron Rodgers left for Green Bay, but the division is still good in comparison to the fact that, yes, there are 9 other teams, namely the Rams, Seahawks, Buccaneers, Saints, Giants, Bears, Commanders, Cardinals, and Panthers, that aren't in the playoffs right now if it were to start today. It's the Lions, the Vikings, and the Packers. So it may be down, but they're still good enough right now to make the playoffs. We have a very similar AFC North situation taking place because you have, as I've already mentioned, the Ravens at 2, the Steelers at 5, the Browns at 6. Oh, and by the way, the Colts are at 7-5. That's a half-game lead over the Bengals. That's it. And the Bengals have a tiebreaker based on head-to-head winning percentage with the Bills. All the Bengals have to do is get past Denver and the Houston Texans. Denver's 6-6. They got the tiebreaker based on conference winning. And Houston's 7-5. And the only reason that Houston is at 8 and Indy's at 7 is because Indy won head-to-head. But yeah, I mean, I know it's not pretty. Look, it's not a beauty pageant, right? This isn't college football where you're supposed to beat everybody by 150 points. Your offense is supposed to look flawless and never punt. Your defense is supposed to continuously just pick up 3 and outs. Like, you're going to have bad games here in the NFL. The other team is going to score. You're going to lose. It happens every year. There hasn't been an undefeated team since the Dolphins back in the 70s. Even Tom Brady's group, they finished the regular season undefeated and couldn't complete the deal. 2010, shout out to the Giants. Like, that's the way that NFL football is. I know that a lot of people have talked about, the league's been down this year. Why has the league been down? Because there's not one runaway team look, the Eagles were as close to it. They're 10-2. The Niners are 9-3. The Lions are 9-3. And that's where the Dolphins and the Ravens are at. Your team's at 8-4. Jacksonville's not going to be 8-4 if Trevor Lawrence can't go. The Kansas City Chiefs have massive problems. The Dallas Cowboys are sitting there at 9-3. Like, there's plenty of good football being played. I don't understand what the big deal is. I can't even imagine it. All right, we're going to step aside. When we return, we had a conflict of interest last night. That's the way that I labeled it. I felt like that was a safe way to go about it. And even the Sickos Committee picked up on what was taking place there inside Savage Arena. The Toledo Rockets and the Michigan Wolverines. What a scene it was. How good it was for college athletics. We'll get into that game next here. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for Urban U. They are Michigan's favorite med spa locations throughout West Michigan and also on the east side of the state in Northville. And this is for any guy listening right now or lady. If you want the perfect holiday gift for somebody you care about, you need to think about the holiday specials happening at theurbanu.com. That's theurbanu.com. And for the holidays, Urban U is offering holiday tiers. Until December 30th through the end of the year, purchasing a holiday tier is the perfect way to treat yourself or that person in your life that you care about or your family. And you get your holiday gift shopping done quick at theurbanu.com. And what are holiday tiers? Holiday tiers are the best way to get rewarded big time for investing in your health, wellness, and beauty services. Simple and easy. If you want to take care of everything for the holidays, go to theurbanu.com.
Deck your cart with Meijer savings.
This year, give the gift of savings from Meijer.
Santa Bucks will save you plenty. Fa-la-la-la.
Plus, stack your savings when you shop super low prices with the Meijer Super Sale.
Ho, ho, ho! Savings for all!
Don't wait to shop and save with Super Sale and Santa Bucks this Friday and Saturday only at Meijer. Plus, get a $10 coupon when you spend $100 or more this week in store. Print it at checkout. Start redeeming next week. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meijer app.
Huge here for Van Andel Institute Purple Community. Now, they're a grassroots fundraising network powered by the volunteers who support VAI's mission to improve health now and in the future. Learn more at purplecommunity.org. Coming up later today at 3 on the Huge Show on the Michigan Sports Network, I'll deliver huge opinions on everything you're talking about.
Apple Gift Card is a practical gift that unlocks a world of entertainment and fun. You can
You're listening to Michigan's statewide morning show, X's and Bros, right here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Great to have you riding along with us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening. In the NBA, the game can change in an instant, but no matter how the action unfolds, you know DraftKings Sportsbook has your back. This week, new customers can score $150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on basketball. Win or lose, you get an instant dub. Best of all, it's safe, secure, and reliable with 24/7 support. You can deposit, withdraw your cash whenever, wherever you want. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use the promo code HUGE. New customers get $150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on basketball. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook. Only using the promo code HUGE. The crown is yours. Now, if you or somebody you know has a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline, 800-270-7117. Must be 21 plus, physically present in Michigan. Eligibility and deposit restrictions do apply. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms. Here on X's and Bros, coming to you live from the radio bunker. Ben Glaze and Ryan Elke. I'm Anthony Bellino. Text the keyword sports radio. Send that to 21,000 or give us a dial on the Meijer Supercenter guest line, 866-838-4843. That's 866-838-4843. Now, I wanted to talk about this because we had our conversation with the head coach of the Toledo Rockets women's basketball team, Tricia Cullop, one of my most favorite all-time people. And I know that we were talking about the NCAA at the end of the show yesterday, and as I was walking into Savage Arena last night to work the game between the Toledo Rockets and the Michigan Wolverines, actually there were some people that listened to that segment, and they're like, it made sense. And I said, well, thanks a lot. I said, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to present real world examples that can be easily applied to a way of thinking, and especially when it comes to college athletics, trying to not necessarily reinvent the wheel, but trying to figure out a way to go about this moving forward as we need to evolve, right? So, one, it's always good when people are like, hey, and then I had a young fella come down and said that every day he drives to school, he listens to the show. And I was like, really? I was like, what station do you listen on? He said, I listen on 1230. I said, my guy, man, I appreciate you. But he came down, I was talking to, because they had right behind the Michigan bench is where the Michigan fans were at. So I was stopping by to see everybody that I would normally see in Ann Arbor. And they were like, some of them were shocked, others knew, but some were shocked to see me there in my Toledo Rockets gear. And the young fella came down and introduced himself, man. So I really, I appreciated that very much. Very enthusiastic. I was like, man, you need an internship? My kind of guy. But, making my way into the arena, and it was the first regular season. What's the right way to say this? It was the first regular season sellout for Toledo women's basketball. It has happened. They've sold out the arena before. I mean, we're talking about a team that has won the WNIT. They played USC back then when that took place. But the idea that this many people are going to show up and take in a women's basketball game, I just think I think it's fantastic. I really do. 7,082 was the called attendance. That is a sellout, the first ever sellout in the regular season. It was also, I believe, the first regular season nationally televised basketball game. That's why it was at 5 o'clock. It was on the CBS Sports Network. Now, I know you got to play the hits, right? It's a Thursday. You got Thursday Night Football. We're going to get into the Pistons, trust me. We've got a golf topic as well, as the USGA has announced the rollback on the golf ball. So we'll get you some details on that and how that's going to affect you coming, moving forward. And Chris Wormley will join us. We'll talk some college football and Michigan with him, and of course, the Detroit Pistons. Jalen Duren getting hurt last night. What a disaster. We'll get into all of that. But I say all of that to say that, there is I was asked before the game, what do you think? And I said, I said my number for Toledo would be 23.5. I swear to God, the final score was 69-46. And I had said that to one of the coach's wives on the sidelines. And she was like, she looked at me, I said, you don't have to be nervous. You don't have to be nervous. It's just, at the end of the day, it's just basketball. We're good at it. We have an experienced team. Like, everything's fine, right? Don't panic. But I knew, like, I watch a ton of it all season long, every season, a ton of it. And, especially on the women's side, it like it is what it is. I know, play the hits, right? I get it. But for this one particular night, and it just so happens it's both of my employers, and the Sickos committee had picked up on it. They were like, wait a minute, the Michigan and Toledo PA guy's the same dude? And they're like, and he does Bowling Green? I said, no, I don't do Bowling Green, but I definitely, I graduated from there. I definitely did do that. The atmosphere for that type of game, first off, in the Mid-American Conference, regardless of men's or women's, there's only one school that I have been to in my travels, and I've been to every arena and every football stadium in the MAC throughout my time working in Group of 5 athletics. Ohio men's basketball is the one that draws for hoops. They get legitimate crowds down there in the Convo. Like, it's fun in Athens. It's got a very, very unique, very sort of like Butler, Marquette, Xavier type of feel, right? Xavier's another one. Like, Xavier, not at the Cintas Center, isn't huge, but they pack it. My travels in college athletics, man, we've been all over the place. Have you ever heard of Marist College? I can tell you Marist College is just shy of 11 hours by bus. It's about 10 and a half because that's the limit that you can go in one day on a bus. Marist College is in Poughkeepsie, New York. All the places you'll go. And you arrive to arenas like Youngstown State and Canisius. You go to Northern Illinois. You travel to all these different schools all over the place. Cleveland State. Marshall. I could go on the list. I've been to a lot of places that you would never go to. You would never go. You probably, if you've ever heard of Marist College, you still wouldn't go there. You don't even know where Poughkeepsie's at. Throw a map of New York up here. I don't even know. I don't remember where Poughkeepsie's at. It's not relevant. And you think about going to those games and working those games and seeing what felt like 40 people in the stands. Right? I mean, you see it on midweek action on television, 100, 200, 400 people there, give or take. In a lot of these football programs, some of them do really well early in the season. They pilfer off later on, and I get it. I understand. But to have a regular season game in the Group of 5 with that kind of atmosphere, call it mid-major in hoops, and on the women's side of things, last night was electric. And that's why, teams will travel to play Toledo. Notre Dame does it. Duke has done it. Like, they're not afraid. They will come to Toledo and they will play because it's a great atmosphere, because you don't get that. It's not like you go from, Purdue to Assembly Hall to the Breslin Center, like some of these, Wisconsin. You have some of these venues, Illinois, the Barn even in Minnesota. You have some of these venues where the crowd impact, like, it's every single game. Like, I thought that Indiana's players, when they walked in, I don't know why I thought this, but when they were getting ready for their warm-ups the other night against Michigan, they weren't worried. They weren't. Yeah, because one kid was looking around, and it looked like he was disappointed because they play at Assembly Hall. They know what it's like to play in front of sold-out crowds. Like, it doesn't faze them, and it doesn't happen on the women's side that often. There might be one or two programs that have 10,000-plus fans at every game. That's a lot of people. You have to be really good for a long time to build that kind of support. And that's exactly what Tricia Cullip has built at the University of Toledo. They've been really good for a long time, for as long as she has been there. It's not just get into the postseason. They've done that. They've gotten into the NCAA tournament. They've won NCAA tournament games. They've played in the WNIT. They've won the actual championship. They've won the WNIT. That was a big deal. You win the NIT, like, it's still a big deal for your program. And that's why teams are willing to schedule Michigan, because on the women's side, you're not going to run into too many venues that are going to feel like that felt last night. And that was such a good win for women's hoops. That was such a good win for college athletics. Like, that one felt pure. Regardless of the outcome of the game, that one felt pure. Like, that felt like that's what it's supposed to be. Now, I read this article from this guy from the Harrisburg Tribune. They cover Penn State. He covers Penn State. And he sent some shots at my buddy who works down at Ohio State, their PA announcer, and he was talking about game day presentation. And PA guys that are yelling into mics and hype men that are screaming and T-shirts and DJ music, and it was a mess, right? This guy is mad. I want to have him on the show just to talk about it a little bit because I think that would be kind of interesting. But you know, what the game used to be in 1980 is completely different. Band, cheerleaders, fans, that's it. That's all you had. You know, now there's a lot more effort that goes into it. He blames it on the fact that the athletic departments have a surplus of money. That's not the case. The athletic departments are doing everything everything that in their power that they can in order to make the game day atmosphere fun so that people come back. Like, that's what they want to do. They just want to sell tickets, man. That's it. Everybody shows up. We could probably come to an accord that if you show up, I won't even talk. If you guys all show up, I'll just sit there. How about that? But I looked at last night, and it felt like college athletics again. It really did. Now, Toledo's got some kids on NIL, and I'm not sure if Michigan does on their side of things in their women's basketball programs. But there was something about it, man. The crowd was electric. I mean, 7,000 is a sellout inside Savage Arena. It's not a massive arena, but it's very rare that we sell it out. I never understood it because, you know, when you think about it, that program is so good and every game matters. You know, there's other things in Toledo that people might go to, minor league hockey or minor league baseball, that people go to and it sells out. And it's like, okay, well, that's kind of interesting considering this team has a chance at a berth at an NCAA trip. Like, what? But to each their own priorities. You like what you like. I'm not going to bark at you about that. It just so happens that, Toledo hockey draws really well. They sell out all the time, and they've built a rapport in the league. I mean, look at the transition for Derek Lalone, and look at the transition for Dan Watson now out there in Grand Rapids, and they built a winning product. Like, it's not just AA hockey in Toledo; it's different than that, and that's important, and that's special, and that's a lot of effort and a lot of time and a lot of commitment, a lot of planning to get people to come to your venue to take in this game. And what we saw last night at the University of Toledo, I'm glad Michigan made the trip because regardless of how good their team is, the brand is worth coming to see. If you can get, Michigan to take a trip to your venue and you are a mid-major program, that's going to automatically sell tickets. Like, people are juiced up. And the Rockets played great basketball. They did. They hit some shots there last night that, bank was open. They put it on, and they put it on early. They put it on often. They're an experienced team. They got great post play. They got good shooters. They got good wings. They got everything you need. That's a dangerous mid-major team that last year made the NCAA tournament and 2 years ago should have gotten an at-large and got snubbed by the committee, and they were like 29-5 or something crazy. And women's hoops is different than men's. It's different than men's. Like, you can be an at-large in the MAC. The MAC one time had 3 bids in the NCAA tournament on the women's side of things not that long ago. I want to say Ryan's Central Michigan Chippewas, were they one of the 3 teams that were in? I don't know for certain, but I want to say it was like 3-4 years ago they got 3 teams in. So it's feasible because they all schedule hard. The other part about it is you have to have coaches that are willing to schedule. That's what college basketball kind of runs into. In football, it's kind of like, we're going to take the paycheck and go. Toledo gets an opportunity to go to Illinois. They lose at the end of the game. They lost 30-28. Slam your head into the wall. It just is, it's unfortunate. They were right there. They were close, but it's a really good game to start the season for them. You get your Bowling Green, go to Ohio State, or Bowling Green, go to Michigan and get waxed. Like, it happens. You want to have your team put up a really good showing to let everybody know that, hey, you're not just going to beat us by 70. Like, we're going to be competitive. Like, we've got a program here. That's just very, very important. And I was over the top excited. And obviously, when Toledo had reached out, because I used to do weeklies with all the coaches, football, men's basketball, women's basketball, hockey. Like when it was just local radio in Toledo, all the coaches, weekly interviews with them. Now, as things change and our markets changed, right, you have to kind of refocus and recenter and do a little bit of the juggle. But when Toledo's like, hey, can you have, Trish on? Absolutely. Are you kidding me? Of course. Of course. Does this matter too much to people in Traverse City or Charlevoix? I don't know. There's a girl from Charlevoix that's on the Michigan basketball team, so it might. But there might be a young lady driving around right now who's got us on the radio that is just happy to hear us talk about women's shooty hoops. And it was a game that, got national attention on national TV. And there was actually a Toledo Rockets Varsity T is what they call it, the Varsity T Hall of Fame, who was a women's basketball alum. We honored her at the game last night, spent 30 years at ESPN, and was in director of programming and partnerships for, women's acquisitions. Like, that's what it was. She was trying to build the brand of women's sports on TV. I'm not telling you got to watch it. I'm not forcing it down your throat. I'm just saying, like, it just takes a lot of effort. Takes a lot of effort. And that was one hell of a basketball game last night. And for Toledo, it's a long season. It's a long season, right? I think Michigan came into the game like 7-1 or something like that. Whereas Toledo was like 3-2. So, you still have, 20% of your campaign. You only have about 20% of your campaign done. You still got about 80% to play. You still got to get into, Mid-American Conference play, and it's just so much different. A game like that with that kind of magnitude, and it means a lot more. It means a whole lot more to a mid-major if they can pull off that upset, because they don't get a lot of those at-large berths. Somebody asked me last night, about my rooting interest, and I'm like, I root for my employer. Whoever the day's employer is, that's who I'm excited about, and the other team I'm not. And that's how I work. It's very rare that two of my teams will run into each other. Last night they did, and the year before they did. I just told everybody I wasn't going to screw up like I did on the very first possession of last year's game. But Michigan can take that loss and survive and still get an at-large berth as long as they play well in the conference. It's not that way for Toledo. It used to be the Mid-American Conference is a multi-bid league. Probably should get back to that, considering the brand power and what they have. And yeah, I'm taking those numbers. I'm blasting that everywhere. I'm sending it to the NCAA. Like, I want everybody to see, like, look, this is what we have here at the mid-major level. We need to be included. If our record is good enough, you need to take a legitimate look at us. Like, our people watch games. They care. And look, it was a fun night. It was a fun night. I don't lose any sleep over the wins and losses. It doesn't even happen when it's Michigan, whether it's football or men's basketball. No, it just doesn't faze me like that. I'm there to do a job. So do the job, do it the best of your ability, and then you go home, right? It's just you're just an employee. That's all it is. But it was a whole hell of a lot of fun last night, and I love a 5 o'clock tip-off. More of those, please. Less 9 o'clock, more 5 o'clock. More of this program next. Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive boys and girls high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
Hi, I'm Casey. I don't just work at Meijer, I shop there. Get a $10 coupon like I just did when you spend $100 or more this week in store. Print it at checkout. Start redeeming next week. And get a Meijer Spiral Sliced Ham for 89 cents per pound with M-Perks. Discount automatically applied when you enter your M-Perks ID Limit 1. And save even more with M-Perks with $1 off per gallon of gas. Get the same low prices in store and online. For big deals and great quality, shop Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meijer app.
Get your groove on. Friday, December 15th at Soaring Eagle Casino. Robin Thicke. Same show, same night, Montel Jordan. Tickets start at $53. On sale now at the box office and etix.com. Party hard. Slide into smooth. Robin Thicke and Montel Jordan. Friday, December 15th at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort.
Roast Umber is a farm-direct coffee sourced from Central American farmers and roasted in Grand Rapids. And also the Nitro Cold Brew Coffee is a convenient and healthy option for energy with no sugar additives. Look for it at your local retailer or at roastumber.com.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Huge here. AB's doing a heck of a job, and I'm ready to drop some huge opinions about what he's talking about later today at 3 on the Michigan Sports Network.
It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It's a good morning. Wake up to a brand new day.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, Vietnam! Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Welcome back here, X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Ben Glaze, Ryan Elke, Anthony Bellino, all joining you. Thank you for joining us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio and worldwide on the iHeartRadio app from Traverse City down to the Glass City, GR to the Motor City. We say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, of course, we encourage you. Join the program at any time. Text the keyword sports radio. Send that to 21,000 sports radio to 21000. You can call us on the Meijer Supercenter guest line, 866-838-4843, 866-838-4843, 866-838-HUGE. That's the number. We're on Twitter at XB Mornings, Facebook, X's and Bros, and, of course, good morning to our television audience as well on BCSN and streaming live on our YouTube page at Michigan Sports Network. Add a .com to that to find our website. xbmornings@gmail.com is the fan feedback email inbox, and you can find us all individually on Twitter. Ryan Elke is at RyanL_Key. Ben Glaze is at The Ben Glaze, and I'm Anthony Bellino at AC Bellino. What's going on in the world of sports? We'll try to get you all caught up with all the happenings. We'll do so right now in the headlines.
Big news.
I have a little news flash.
Let's check the headlines.
No, it's real news for once.
The biggest stories of the local, regional, and national news.
This is huge news.
The Detroit Pistons not only lost the game against the Memphis Grizzlies last night, they also lost Jalen Duren during the contest. We'll get into that coming up later on at 8:35 this morning. 116 to 102, your final score. 18 consecutive losses. The team is 2-19, and with over 25% of the season played, we are already done. Already done. What a disappointing year, to say the least. More thoughts on that coming up. A former Jacksonville Jaguars employee is accused of stealing over $22 million from the franchise over a 4-year period by manipulating its virtual credit card program. The U.S. attorney is charging Amit Patel with wired fraud and illegal monetary transactions, alleging that Patel, who had held various titles during his tenure with the Jags, including most recently manager, financial planning, and analysis, used his position as the sole overseer of the franchise VCC program to fund lavish personal purchases and cover up his theft. Wow. How did you steal $22 million? You're going to jail. Dude, you're going to the federal penitentiary. It ain't worth it. It's really not. You already have a great job. What are you stealing from? Like, you are going to prison. I don't know if any of you people have ever watched any of the Locked Up series on National Geographic. Not Locked Up Abroad, no, Locked Up here. Here, in this country. Yeah, I don't want to get locked up abroad either, because that's just not good. Dude, you do not want to be in prison. I don't know who needs to tell you that, but that is not the route to go. That is a terrible existence. Terrible. And I saw a picture of this guy. Good luck. Like, no thanks. Why would you do that? What's wrong with you? Did you think you weren't going to get caught? Everybody gets caught. If they got Capone in the 30s on tax evasion, they're going to get you in the computer digital age. I just never understood that. They got Capone when you barely had a radio. Now we have the internet. Of course they're going to get you. The only people they don't get are those funding these proxy wars in third world countries and taking home millions of dollars from these people. Like, our president's family. The Jets are returning to Zach Wilson to be their quarterback one. He's named the starter against the Houston Texans. Give me Houston by 1,000 in that ball game if that's the case. The Cowboys' Mike McCarthy had his appendix removed. Defensive coordinator Dan Quinn said that the plan is McCarthy should be good to go 5 days before the biggest game of the regular season against the Eagles, an acute case of appendicitis. He had abdominal pain Wednesday morning before seeing the medical staff. He had the procedure, expected to be released from the hospital later on last night, and, maybe he'll be good to go. Coordinators Brian Schottenheimer, John Fossil, Dan Quinn ran practice while McCarthy, who turned 60 last month, recuperates. I imagine he might be able to make it to the sidelines for that. Luka Doncic, or maybe he won't, and they'll be able to actually manage a clock, and they'll be like, well, maybe we should move on from this. Luka Doncic had a first-half triple-double, finished the game with 40 points, 11 rebounds, and 10 assists. Played only 3 quarters. The Mavs beat the Jazz last night, 147-97. 50-point blowout. Speaking of 50 points, that's how many Joel Embiid scored last night, a season-high 50, as the 76ers beat the Warriors 131-126. The Bulls, Zach LaVine, out an additional 3 to 4 weeks with a foot injury. Feel bad for the Chicago Bulls in that franchise. They thought they had a good idea. They had Lonzo Ball. They had Zach LaVine. You had Vukovic you traded for, and it looked like things were going to come together, and they were going to restore kind of that early 2010s, Br0's team sort of look, and just never worked out. The Lakers are going to have to switch from their black uniforms mandated by the NBA because there's going to be, whatever that in-season tournament court is, there's going to be a little bit of a clash there. It'd be like Boise State and their blue jerseys on the Smurf turf. Patrick Kane is ready to make his Red Wings debut, so congratulations to Mr. Kane. He'll wear the wing wheel tonight, 7 o'clock against San Jose. Cannot wait for that game tonight. Man, that's like appointment television. If you are a Detroit sports fan, if you're a Red Wings fan, that one, 7 o'clock San Jose, every shift is going to be awesome tonight. Texas and Oklahoma, their rivalry game is going to stay at the Cotton Bowl through 2036. This was announced Wednesday. An estimated $140 million renovation to the aging stadium, which opened its doors in 1930. The Longhorns and the Sooners first met at a neutral site, the State Fair of Texas, in 1929. Have played every game in the Cotton Bowl since it opened the very next year. The rivalry game began in 1900. The two teams have played for the 119th time this season. Wow. Walter Nolan leads 4 top recruits for Texas A&M to enter the portal. More portal action coming out of Ohio State. We're already over 1,100 players in the portal, including Oklahoma State's own coach's son, Gunnar Gundy. Gundy had interest from Toledo and Eastern Michigan out of high school in the 2020 class. Chose to play for his father. He's going to hit the portal. That's how bad it is. You got to even hit the portal when your dad's the coach. The Yankees are acquiring Juan Soto in a 7-player deal. Now, who knows what this contract is going to look like on the other side. But remember, Juan Soto, although it feels like he's been in the league for 50 years, he's only 25 years old. Only 25. Like, he's got 10 years left. So if you're the Yankees, at 25, you can sign him to that decade-long deal if you so choose to. Because, well, one, you've got the money to do so. And two, we're talking about a guy who can blast it, and he led the MLB in walks in each of the last 3 seasons. Plate discipline with power, exactly what the Yankees need. Left-handed starter and former Detroit Tiger, Eduardo Rodriguez, a.k.a. E-Rod, signed a deal, 4 years, around $80 million, about $20 million a season, to go play for the Arizona Diamondbacks pending a physical. I don't know why I don't get it. This one just, he had the marital issues that he missed the 2022 season, a majority of. And last year, he ruptured that pulley in his left finger that caused him to miss all of June and missed out on the All-Star game. He returned, wasn't nearly as good as he was prior to, but still, he forgoes 3 years and $49 million for 4 years and $80 million. I thought he didn't want to live on the West Coast. What happened there? Speaking of Tigers and former Tigers, infielder Jeimer Candelario, a.k.a. the Candyman, and the Cincinnati Reds have agreed on a 3-year, $45 million deal. Had a hell of a bounce-back season. Career high in home runs with 22, RBI in 70, while hitting .251, .336, and .471 on the slash line, playing first and third base for the Nationals and the Cubs last year. His deal with the Reds includes a club option for $15 million in 2027. And, we had Michigan versus Toledo women last night. The Toledo women win 69-49 over the University of Michigan. And Campy's crew, the Oakland Grizzlies, taking on the Toledo Rockets on the men's side of things. Toledo's men won 69-68. We'll step aside. More X's and Bros after this.
Bill Simonson here for my good friend Josh Garvey. Now, he is a managing shareholder at Br0's, soon to be Doran Mayhew at the end of the year. And with the merger, there is growth and a chance for you to fill an executive or other high-level finance-related roles, either at Br0 here in downtown Grand Rapids or over at the Doran Mayhew World Headquarters in Troy, or at any of their offices across the country and around the world. They have a national specialized talent pool with ideal candidates for long-term placement, ongoing support for post-placement success. So if you're looking for that next chapter in your professional career, talk to Josh Garvey and the team at Br0. Easiest way, you can call Br0, ask for Josh Garvey, or go to their website, BENEGARTR.com, or look for Br0, soon to be Doran Mayhew, on Facebook and on Twitter.
Imagine this, a day filled with indulgence, bursting with excitement, and packed with extraordinary moments that build memories to last a lifetime. A day that is unmistakably yours, at the place that is undeniably spectacular. Whether you're winning big, dining lavishly, or relaxing oh so comfortably, it's your getaway reimagined at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort.
Roast Umber is a farm-direct coffee sourced from Central American farmers and roasted in Grand Rapids. And also the Nitro Cold Brew Coffee is a convenient and healthy option for energy with no sugar additives. Look for it at your local retailer or at roastumber.com. Coming up later today at 3 on The Huge Show on the Michigan Sports Network, I'll deliver huge opinions on everything you're talking about.
This is X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
I got Doe Jumars in my mentions right now. Doe, I'm with you. We're going to talk about this, Doe. We might have Doe Jumars call into the show today because I am so unhappy with what we're seeing. And last night takes the cake. You lose to the Memphis Grizzlies. You're rested. They're injured. You got your full complement, your full arsenal. Keith Black Trudeau, one of those voices that I really do enjoy following. Now, he can be a little negative Nancy from time to time. But Keith Black Trudeau was asked, what's the winning percentage between Donald Sterling? Do you remember Donald Sterling, the Clippers owner? Donald Sterling? The Clippers franchise under his ownership had a winning percentage of .371. That's the same exact as the Pistons. Same exact one as the Pistons under Tom Gores. Everybody's getting blamed. Everybody. Let me explain something to you real quick, because you hear this a lot. You hear the term reserves a lot. Basketball is different than hockey, right? Hockey, you have your 4 lines of forwards, your 3 lines of D. You make it work. Or, maybe you're carrying a 7th defender, however you want to do it that night, right? You'll have your healthy scratches. A healthy scratch is a guy that is not in the lineup, that is under the roster, that is in the suites or up in the press box watching the game because for whatever reason, whether it's matchup related or bad week of practice, or it could be a myriad of different things. Maybe you missed some time. Who knows? But he is healthy, but he's not playing for the team that night. Everybody else who's on the roster, the roster that you fielded there, they're going to go out and play. In baseball, we have a bench, right? But the bench, with the full complement of pitchers, your 40-man roster, right? You have your 8 positional players, then you have your backups, right? And then you have 800 pitchers. It's just different. In football, you have your 11 starters on offense, your 11 starters on defense. That's 22 players out of your 53. There are backup players who aren't going to play unless something happens to the starters. So let's think big picture here. Graham Glasgow, it was signed as a 6th offensive lineman, not immediately a starter. So if you're not starting in the NFL, you're on the bench, you're a backup, you're whatever. But then you come in, that's where you hear the term serviceable backup. In basketball, you have your rotation players and you have your reserves. Your rotation players are the guys that are going to see time on the basketball court every single night. These are the guys that are in your rotation. Very good. See, I knew you knew. That's typically on a basketball team. You'll notice this a lot in college. That rotation goes down to 7 or 8 guys. You got guys playing a lot of minutes. In the NBA, it's a little bit different. You should be able to have a competent rotational player for each and every position. So you got 5 starters, 5 guys in the rotation that come off the bench, and then you have your reserves. Your reserves are the guys that are not going to play unless a rotational guy gets injured. Right? Hopefully I was able to break that down enough for you. I don't know on what planet you live on, but there's a theory here. And if you coach youth sports, listen to this very closely. Usually, let's say for basketball, for instance, you have 15 kids on your team. The logical thing to say is I have 3 lines of 5. It's the easiest way to break it down. You probably have some playing time requirements, however your league operates. Look, this is the world that I grew up in, so that this is the world that I worked in, so this is what I'm going to go with, right? And I love the game of basketball. So when you have a group of 15 young kids, your immediate thought is I have 3 lines of 5. Now, if you are a parent, you might, whether your child is the best or you think he's the best or he's middle of the pack, you might put your kid in that quote-unquote first line with the most talented players, right? The kids pick up on that. They know. who's good and who isn't. They're not dumb. They understand. These kids look at that and they kind of take it as a slight. You don't want to do that. At the youth level, you change your starting lineup all the time. You want to give somebody, hey, here's the starters for today. You give somebody else the opportunity to start. And if you have, let's say you only play a 10-game season and you got 15 kids, that's pretty easy to do. Everybody's going to get a start. Easy to do. That's probably not mandatory, but it's something nice. As fifth graders, it's important to understand we are educators first. We are coaches first. We're not worried about wins and losses. Nobody's going to retire our jersey somewhere or make a banner and hang it in the gym or name a court after us. But we are educators of the game because these kids literally do not know what they do not know. You have to go through stuff like out of bounds, travel, how do we pivot, before you can start talking about flares and pin downs and everything else. At the youth level, you learn early. Do not take your 5 best players off the floor and insert your 5 worst players at the same time. Do not sub like it's hockey and we're flipping lines here. It's a mistake. And if you do it right now, if you're getting ready for your youth season and you're thinking, you're listening to this, you're like, wait a minute, what's he talking? Follow me on this and trust me. You're going to have some players that are really good athletes. You're going to have some players that they are just smarter. They're advanced, right? They watch a lot of basketball. They play a lot of basketball. You're going to know who your high IQ guys are, guys that understand the rules, basically. Those kids, and if not, if you need to explain it to them, then do it. But when you talk, you're in the fourth quarter of your game, and you guys are up 12 in a fifth grade game, that's like 1,200. The other team's probably not coming back. When you go to sub, switch your substitution patterns so that you are not putting your 5 worst players out there on an island where you got kids that can't dribble effectively, can't handle ball pressure, can't pass, can't walk and chew gum at the same time. You take those kids and blend them, mix your lineup in with some kids that can hold down the fort. At the worst, 2 of your premier players and 3 of your bench guys, your bottom tier guys, or vice versa. 3 of your top line guys and 2 of your worst players. Put those kids that can't walk and chew bubblegum at the same time on the floor with kids that can function in the offense. And the reason you do that is you're not putting all that pressure on the kids that can't do it. You're not creating an environment or a good learning experience for your bottom tier kids when you sub them in and put them out there and they can't function. You have to blend your lineup. You have to do it. Especially if you as a youth coach, you owe that. You have to instruct and treat the worst kid on the team like he is your golden goose. I had a kid that went to Air Force on a full scholarship. I had 2 kids as freshmen get called up to varsity. My team was loaded. They all knew what the goal was. They knew what the deal was. We knew what we were doing. At the end of the game, the second half, and this game's in hand, and the kid that went to Air Force, I never had to tell him. He's getting rebounds and he's kicking it out. And he's getting it to the kid with the goggles on. Because he knows what's important here. He's done his job. His work is done. He's going to take care of his teammates. It is your responsibility as a coach to instill that into your players. If your top line, your premier guys, your golden geese, they need to understand what we are here to do. It doesn't matter if we go 50-0. No one cares what happens in 5th grade. Get them prepared to play at 6th grade. Get them prepared to play at 7th, and then from 7th to 8th, and then from 8th to high school. You would never do that. It's not smart. Why is Monty Williams doing this? Why is he doing this? This is a travesty, what is taking place. Why are we playing Marcus Sasser, Alex Burks, James Wiseman, Isaiah Livers? Why are we unloading the bench all at once? It doesn't make any logical sense. We'll talk football next with Chris Wormley.
Huge here for Urban U. They are Michigan's favorite med spa locations throughout West Michigan and also on the east side of the state in Northville. And this is for any guy listening right now or lady. If you want the perfect holiday gift for somebody you care about, you need to think about the holiday specials happening at theurbanu.com. That's theurbanu.com. And for the holidays, Urban U is offering holiday tiers. Until December 30th through the end of the year, purchasing a holiday tier is the perfect way to treat yourself or that person in your life that you care about or your family. And you get your holiday gift shopping done quick at theurbanu.com. And what are holiday tiers? Holiday tiers are the best way to get rewarded big time for investing in your health, wellness, and beauty services. Simple and easy. If you want to take care of everything for the holidays, go to theurbanu.com.
Deck your cart with Meijer savings.
This year, give the gift of savings from Meijer.
Santa bucks will save you plenty. Fa-la-la-la.
Plus, stack your savings when you shop super low prices with the Meijer Super Sale.
Ho, ho, ho! Savings for all!
Don't wait to shop and save with Super Sale and Santa Bucks this Friday and Saturday only at Meijer. Plus, get a $10 coupon when you spend $100 or more this week in store. Print it at checkout. Start redeeming next week. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meijer app.
The Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation is dedicated to providing support to families and Michigan schools touched by autism. We invite you to join us in supporting these families and schools by making a donation at freddythepizzaman.com. With your donation, you can help provide essential resources that can make a real impact. Visit freddythepizzaman.com to make a donation and to learn more about the foundation's mission. That's FREDI thepizzaman.com. Together, we can make a difference.
This is X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Ben Glaze, Ryan Elke, Anthony Bellino, all joining you. Joining us now this week on a Thirsty Thursday. He is a Michigan alum currently with the Carolina Panthers. His name is Chris Wormley. Find him on Twitter at Chris_Wormley43. Chris, my man, good morning to you. How are you? How's life? How are things, partner?
Everything's well. Another great win this past Saturday for the Wolverines. It was great to watch. I got to watch most of it, kind of in between Saturday night meetings. We were in where were we this past weekend? We were in Tampa, Florida this weekend playing the Bucks, and got a chance to watch most of the game after meetings. So it was great to watch.
You know, it really was. And I wanted to start our conversation off with what does it mean to you now to see 45-time Big Ten champion Michigan Wolverine football program? I mean, that's 45 is a lot. And, you know, I was getting some pushback from some Buckeye fans. They're like, how many since, post-leather helmets? And I said, if you want to start at 1970, they've had 23 Big Ten titles. That's nothing to thumb your nose at. I mean, that's 43% of the actual conference championships in that time frame. It really does feel like this program has reached that next level.
Yeah, I think it's significant. I think, when I was there, we were stuck on 42 for so long, 42 Big Ten championships. And these last 3 years, whether you're a fan, whether you're obviously a player or a former player, it's been really fun to watch and be a fan now. But I'm just excited for the guys. I'm excited for Harbaugh, who, before these 3 Big Ten championships was looking at potentially being fired when it comes to, that COVID year was really sucked for those guys. But they turned it around. They didn't really say a whole lot. They kind of went back to work, and these last 3 years have been a product of guys sticking around, guys believing in the program, and the fruits of their labor are finally paying off. These last 3 years have been fun to watch.
With this game against Iowa, and we all know that Iowa has a good defense. I don't want to take anything away from the Hawkeyes. If you're watching that, and I'm sure Chris, you saw it. They're gap disciplined. Nobody gets nosy. Nobody gets out of position. They play exactly where they're supposed to be at, and they do it all game long, and it's kind of infuriating. But on the Michigan side of things, JJ's 22 of 30 for 147, no touchdowns, no picks. The running game, complete, in total net yards, you got 52 out of Blake Corum on 16 carries. You got 28 yards out of Donovan Edwards on 4 carries. His long was 17, so outside of that, he had 3 for 11, 66 net yards rushing. Are you worried at all now moving forward with what you saw from Michigan's offense in that game against Iowa?
No, I don't think so. I think Iowa has a top 10 and top 5 in a lot of categories in the nation. So we knew that going into the game that Michigan was going to have to, they put up 3 points and that's all they really needed to do after that first field goal that they put up because their defense played just as well or even better. Michigan's defense played better than Iowa's defense did, I think, overall. But obviously when you look at it, I don't think that offensive performance is going to cut it against Alabama. But they have, 3.5, 4 weeks to figure some things out, get some new wrinkles in, get guys healthy, get the offensive line kind of solidified in terms of obviously when Zinter went down, kind of solidify that and get rolling into the Rose Bowl. It's going to be a huge game. It's funny. I don't think many people are betting or thinking Michigan's going to win, which is kind of crazy. Seeing as they're the number 1 team in the country in the college football playoff rankings. But I like the matchup. I think obviously Alabama has been great all year except for that Texas game, and we saw it in the SEC championship. But I think obviously Michigan's offense is going to have to play better. That's what you would expect them to do, is continuously get better. But I wouldn't say a near flawless performance, but one of their best performances is going to have to be performed and played, in a couple weeks.
Now, what I'm about to say might rattle the cage a little bit, might shake some things up. But I want to go to the MVP of that game against Iowa in the Big Ten championship, Mike Sainristil, because here's a guy who started off as wide receiver, had his position flipped, and just continues to develop, continues to be, now he's a guy that Detroit fans are like, hey, we need to keep him home. Like, is there a way that we can draft him? Can we just lock him up for our secondary? Like, he is amazing to watch play. Is he, how do I phrase this? Is he the most like Michigan man since Charles Woodson?
I mean, he's definitely one of those guys where, while he's at Michigan, you might not think like all of the things that he's accomplished. But when you look 10, 15, even 20 years down the road, people are going to look back and be like, okay, that guy, that player, not only was a hell of a defensive back for us, but he was maybe one of the top receivers at the time when he was playing receiver for us. I saw maybe a 5-minute highlight on Twitter a couple of days ago of all of his plays throughout the years, and those offensive plays he had some of them were spectacular. But I think he's one of those guys, like I said, that'll go down in Michigan history as one of the most obviously accomplished Michigan football players. But one of those guys that you said that, kind of like a Charles Woodson, who's like, this guy kind of just breathes and exudes what it means to be a Michigan man.
Yeah, just kind of. I was thinking about that, and I'm like, man, you think about Mike Sainers still, and it's like this guy just does anything that's asked of him. And he excels at everything, and he likes it. It's Mikey. He likes it. An all-time call there from Gus Johnson. On your position, defensive front, I mean, Sanders still had one. Braden McGregor had one. Jalen Harrell had one. Derek Moore had one. 4 sacks in that game against Iowa. They had 5 tackles for loss. Like this team was flying around doing everything. Because, you think about Iowa's offense, they've been, just atrocious all year long. My biggest question going into this game was who would have more, Michigan total offense or Iowa punt yards? And it was Iowa punt yards. I mean, they were punting a lot. We put it up on the poll. I was dead serious because I thought, 50 yards a punt, 6 punts, it's 300 yards. Like, this is somewhat challenging here. And I just thought that the way that Michigan's defense played, I know Iowa isn't, some, high-flying, 5-wide run-and-shoot offense. But at the same time, you still shut them out. Like, you didn't have that moment that everybody was going to, everybody was talking about, like, oh, they'll score on special teams or a punt block. They'll at least get a field goal. This Michigan defense answered the bell and did so all game long. It almost looked like they were playing with shutout on their mind.
Yeah, I think that was kind of their mentality. They wanted to obviously outplay Iowa's defense, and I think that they did, as those two defenses are, top 10 in the nation. But it just looked like down in and down out, they continued to apply the pressure. Obviously, into the third and fourth quarter, they didn't seem like they let up, and I don't think they did let up when it comes to not allowing them to score. Honestly, even get a drive really started and keep that drive in motion on the offensive side of the ball for Iowa. It looked like one of the more complete games of the year for Michigan, and I think they're going to have to continue that success. Obviously, I don't expect them to shut out Alabama, but I expect them to have their best game coming up as well.
For historical context, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to figure out this or not, but if Michigan is able to get by Alabama in the Rose Bowl and then get past whomever they might see in the final, you're talking about 5 games against the top 25, 4 games against the top 10, and 3 games against the top 5 to close out the season in 6 total games. I mean, that's like we're talking about a run that is going to be necessary. Doing it last 3 games without your head coach on the sidelines in the regular season, and then of course to see Jim on the podium up there, telling the commission, hey, we want this trophy handed off to Zach Sinter. I love that. I thought that was great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good move by him, and they shook hands, and it was all cordial and whatnot. But he said, no, hand it to Zach, and that's what they did. And I thought it was a fun celebration. And this team has something really special that they can accomplish. The question now comes from your opinion in playing college football. Can you even begin to imagine what Florida State feels like? And I've been pounding the drum for Florida State, not because I care about the Michigan matchup. I don't care who they play. You just got to go out there and you got to win the next 2 games. Doesn't matter who you put in front of them. That's the schedule. Go beat somebody. But can you even imagine what those players and that staff are going through today, knowing that they got left out of the Final Four?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely know what heartbreak is when it comes to playing the game of football. The trouble with the snap against Michigan State, I was on the field for that play in 2015. I was on the field for the JT was short call in 2016. So I know what it feels like to to have kind of your dreams or kind of your hopes and your goals kind of taken from you. And the thing with Florida State is they did everything that was asked of them, right? Like they beat LSU in a neutral site at the beginning of the season. They won all of their games 13-0. They were ACC champions, and they still got left out. And being in the NFL now for 7 seasons like that is mind-blowing, because it doesn't matter who is injured, or all that matters is what your record is, and you're in the playoffs. Like if you obviously you win your division you're in, but then even the wild card spots it's all based off of your record. So let's say back in when Tom Brady was winning all those Super Bowls, if Tom Brady got hurt the last game of the season, or midway through the season, and they still won their division and they were in the top 10 or whatever you want to call it, and for some reason the Roger Goodell was like, Tom Brady's out, you guys worked hard all year, you guys did exactly what you were supposed to do, but we're not going to put you in the playoffs because of X, Y, and Z. And that's why I think there's that there's a misconnect between obviously the NFL and college football when it comes to how these playoffs are. And obviously next year is going up to 12 teams are going to make it in. So hopefully there's less of a disagreement or that gray area. But I feel bad for those Florida State players. They did everything they were asked to do. They didn't lose a game, and they got pushed out to the 5 spot.
To me, it made absolutely no sense. I mean, undefeated conference champion, and I even made a case the other day, Chris. Yeah, you might not even want to listen to what I'm about to say. I made a case that the Ohio State Buckeyes should have been in the college football playoff. I did. I swear to God, and I meant it too. I'm sincerely, because if you're telling me that this committee is going to come up with these arbitrary rankings based on God knows what, they rank these teams, and I see Ohio State they had the best loss out of anybody. They lost to the team that everybody believes the number 1 team in the country on the road by 6 points. Texas lost to Oklahoma, so that's automatically a better loss. Alabama lost to Texas. We see how this is working out. You see, and if you're telling me that a conference championship doesn't matter and 1-loss teams get in, they've told us that before in the past. We've watched this happen. To me, that was my whole sticking point. It's like, what are we doing here in the state of the sport where you're not acknowledging and recognizing the actual games that are being played on the field? That's what I'm most concerned about with college football now moving forward. Maybe the expanded playoff works, maybe it doesn't. How would you fix it? Like, if you could create the perfect playoff for college football, how would you go about determining who gets in?
I think it's hard to make a perfect playoff because there are so many teams and so many teams within that Power 5 conference. That's actually a great question. I haven't really sat and thought about it that much, but I think obviously a good start is moving it to 12 teams. I think that 4 teams was a good starting point for those first couple of years, but we saw pretty quickly that there were some teams that were deserving of being in that playoffs, and they got left on the outside, and we saw that this year with Florida State. But I don't know if there's one correct way to do this. I guess you would somewhat like the NFL, like every division winner gets in, and then there's some wild cards. But even then, it gets a little tricky because there's going to be more than a couple teams. NFL's only 32 teams. In the Power 5, there's 50, 60 plus teams. So who gets in, who gets out, I think is still a very subjective choosing of the team, and I think that's where it gets a little I don't know if you could say conspiracy theory or not, but like it makes sense that Alabama got in solely because of TV ratings and money that is so heavily revenue and all that stuff that's generated through these games and through college football. It kind of makes sense when you look at it from like a business TV rating standpoint.
Now, I want to ask you this then. Am I naive or stupid to believe that, we talk so much about the Power 5 in the college football invitational, because that's what it is. You get invited to come play based on your ranking, so it's an invite. I look at this and I'm like, oh, well, what about the group of five? You know me, Chris. I've worked in the MAC, for a dozen years, 13, hell, even more than that. Now I'm not even, I don't even know how many years, 16 years. I mean, almost half of my life I've worked for Mid-American Conference schools, and I wonder about the group of five. And so, yes or no to this: if you win your conference, you get in, guaranteed berth. Power 5. Group of 5, even though Power 5 is going to change, let's just go with the Pac-12 right now for what it is this year. So give me your 5 Power 5 conference champions. Give me your 5 Group of 5 champions. There's 10 teams. Then you can do your 6 at large. That gives us 16 teams. The bracket's even. Let's roll it out there and play. Like, why not the Toledo Rockets, who win the MAC championship last year? Why not reward them with a seat at the table? Or anybody, if you win the Fun Belt, if you win Conference USA or the American or the Mountain West, like, why not have a seat at the table?
Yeah, I like that idea. And then obviously those 6 at large would probably obviously come from the Power 5. And, this year it would probably be Ohio State and Penn State, maybe Oregon. Obviously Georgia would get in there as well. So I like that idea more than this kind of subjective who deserves to be in, who doesn't deserve to be in type thing. It should solely be based off of, conference championship, and then also those 6 teams, those 6 other teams that are deserving as well, but maybe didn't get a chance to play in the conference championship or lost to one of those top five Power 5 conference schools.
He is Chris Wormley, and as the next commissioner of college football, Chris, I will put you on my cabinet. Your former teammate Jake Butt, he's going to be in on it, and Tyvis Powell from Ohio State. That way we know that we're fair and balanced, even though it's 3-1, Wolverines to Buckeyes. That's going to be my group. We are going to be the powers that be and kick these committees the hell out of here, Chris. That's what we need to do. His name is Chris Wormley. Find him on Twitter at Chris_Wormley43. Chris, as always, my friend, thank you for joining us each and every week and being so flexible with your time, man. I greatly appreciate it. I know our listenership does as well. Best of luck and safe travels this weekend, partner.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Appreciate you.
In the NBA, the game can change in an instant, but no matter how the action unfolds, DraftKings Sportsbook has your back. This week, new customers can score $150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on basketball. Win or lose, you get an instant dub, and best of all, it's safe, secure, and reliable. With 24/7 support, you can deposit, withdraw your cash whenever, wherever you want. Just download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use the promo code HUGE. Promo code HUGE. New customers get $150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on basketball. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with the promo code HUGE. The crown is yours. Now, if you or somebody you know has a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline. 800-270-7117. 21 plus, Michigan only, physically present in Michigan. Eligibility and deposit restrictions to apply. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms. All right, coming up in hour number 3, we've got an adjustment. The USGA is making some rule changes that are not only going to affect the tour pros, but are also going to affect people like me and you. What in the world are they doing? Plus, the Detroit Pistons. This has got to be the most disappointing scene in Detroit since the defeated Lions, the 0-16 Lions. I mean, this is bad, folks. This is real bad. We'll talk about that in hour 3. Next, X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive boys and girls high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
Hi, I'm Casey. I don't just work at Meijer, I shop there. Get a $10 coupon like I just did when you spend $100 or more this week in store. Print it at checkout. Start redeeming next week. And get a Meijer spiral sliced ham for 89 cents per pound with M-Perks. Discount automatically applied when you enter your M-Perks ID Limit 1. And save even more with M-Perks with $1 off per gallon of gas. Get the same low prices in store and online. For big deals and great quality, shop Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meijer app.
Get your groove on. Friday, December 15th at Soaring Eagle Casino. Robin Thicke. Same show, same night, Montel Jordan. Tickets start at $53. On sale now at the box office and etix.com. Party hard. Slide into smooth. Robin Thicke and Montel Jordan. Friday, December 15th at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort.
Roast Umber is a farm-direct coffee sourced from Central American farmers and roasted in Grand Rapids. And also the Nitro Cold Brew Coffee is a convenient and healthy option for energy with no sugar additives. Look for it at your local retailer or at roastumber.com.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Huge here. AB's doing a heck of a job, and I'm ready to drop some huge opinions about what he's talking about later today at 3 on the Michigan Sports Network.
It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Swings it out to Sadiq Bey. Gets Benny in the corner. To Abdul-Rahman at midcourt. Extra pass. And it goes for the win. The three-pointer by Jordan Poole. Here's the give. Walker. Kenneth Walker. Touchdown. Smarty. Goff's got it. Back. Looks. Throws. Ends up. Yes. Caught. Touchdown Detroit Lions. They did it. Amon-Ra St. Brown in the receiving end. Sends one to deep left center field. Back it goes, and that ball's out of here. A grand slam from Miguel Cabrera. He's got 2 goals. Larkin in on goal. Scores! His first career hat trick in his 7th season for Dylan Larkin.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Welcome back here, X's and Bros, on this thirsty Thursday morning. Great to have you riding along with us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening. Currently in a fight in the group chat because Amani Bates scored 30 points. And his number one fan wants to bring it up. So I sent in a stat line for Jay Huff in the very same night. Jay Huff, you might remember, went to Virginia. Now it's being debated because Jay Huff is older and he's 26 years old. There is a debate now between I don't even know where this is going. It's the G League. Everybody's trying to get to the league. Everybody is. It's a hard league to get into. And you're going to have to play really good basketball there, really good basketball to get the call up. And even when you get the call up, it's not a guarantee that you're going to play, right? The point being is that there are going to be great games, some statistically wild games that are going to happen there. It's just going to happen. And sometimes the difference between a G Leaguer and the 15th guy on the bench is literally just opportunity or draft position. That could be all it is. Right? And so, it happens. And this happens at the minor league level throughout all sports. Whether it's baseball, hockey, guys that are going to go into the USFL or the XFL, right? I mean, they're just trying to get enough on tape that somebody will pick them up and just get them an opportunity. Right? And then once you're there, try to stay healthy, maximize your chance, keep it going as long as you can. As long as you possibly can. All right, what's going on in the sports world? We'll try to get you all caught up with all the happenings. We'll do so right now in the headlines.
Big news.
I have a little news flash.
Let's check the headlines.
Nah, it's real news for once.
The biggest stories of the local, regional, and national news.
This is huge news.
Memphis Grizzlies 116-102 winners over the Detroit Pistons, who now fall to 2-19 on the season, their 18th consecutive loss, and they went no-win November. They may do the same thing, dumpster fire December here this month. It ain't looking good, folks. We'll get more into that at 8:35 this morning. A former Jacksonville Jaguars employee is accused of stealing more than $22 million from the franchise over a 4-year period. Wow, his name is Amit Patel. He's being charged with wire fraud and illegal monetary transactions, alleging that Patel, who held various titles his tenure with the Jaguars, most recently manager of financial planning and analysis, used his position as the sole overseer of the franchise's virtual credit card program to fund lavish personal purchases and cover up his theft. Oh, you're going to jail. The Jets are going to return Zach Wilson as their starting quarterback against the Houston Texans. Hammer the Houston Texans in this game right here. Just get you take the Texans. There's no way. The Cowboys' Mike McCarthy had surgery, expects to coach, however, against the Philadelphia Eagles. They got a ton of experience on that staff. I'm not too worried about it. If he doesn't play, or isn't available, I should say, to coach against the Eagles, it might actually work out for the best. Look, the Cowboys are having a good year. They really are. They got a lot of experience on the staff. Dak Prescott's playing at a very high level right now, and the fact that it's the Cowboys, it is just Eagles now on the road at the Cowboys. Eagles 10-2, Cowboys 9-3. Sunday Night Football, 8:20, barn burner. Luka Doncic had a first-half triple-double in the Mavericks blowout of the Utah Jazz. 147-97 was the final score. Doncic's 60th triple-double of his career, moving past Larry Bird into sole possession of 9th place overall on the career list. He was 14 of 25 from the floor, 6 of 12 from three, played 32 minutes. Scored 40 points, 11 rebounds, and had 10 assists as well. Joel Embiid scored a season-high 50 points last night as the 76ers beat the Wizards 131-126. How about Philadelphia? Move on past James Harden. Look at you now. Things are looking up. The Bulls, Zach LaVine, out an additional 3 to 4 weeks with his foot injury. He's got foot inflammation in his right foot. Team announced that following a 111-100 victory over the Charlotte Hornets. The Lakers have to switch from their black uniforms mandated by the NBA, so they won't be able to use those because I guess the floor color for the semifinals and the final games are going to be maybe black. I don't know. They don't want to run into the Smurf turf, I guess, like Boise State wearing blue on that blue grass. I mean, that part to me makes some sense. Speaking of the NBA, tonight on this 7th day of December, we're going to have a couple of games. The Pacers and the Bucks, 5 o'clock ESPN, semifinal game number 1. Pelicans and Lakers on TNT and True TV at 9 o'clock. I don't know why we have a 4-hour split between the two. That's the one thing I can't figure out, but these are semifinal games for the in-season tournament, so it should be a lot of fun. Also happening tonight, Patrick Kane is ready to make his Red Wings debut as the Red Wings will host the San Jose Sharks. Man, this is going to be it's a really good night for sports. We got Thursday Night Football, Patriots and Steelers. And sure, might not be the most attractive game on paper. Sorry, I had to sneeze right there. But then you get the two the two in-season tournament games from the NBA. You get the Red Wings coming out at 7 o'clock. We got a full slate of action tonight, baby. Happy Thursday. Texas and Oklahoma, their rivalry game is going to stay at the Cotton Bowl through 2036. Cotton Bowl is going to invest an estimated $140 million in renovations for the Agent Stadium, which opened up in 1930. That's how long they've been playing there. The rivalry game has been at a neutral site since they played at the State Fair of Texas in 1929. Have played every game in the Cotton Bowl since. The rivalry began in 1900. How about that? Good to keep that intact. Walter Nolan led 4 top recruits from Texas A&M to enter the transfer portal. The number continues to grow at Ohio State and overall across the country. I think we're over 1,100 players now at this point. It's portal chaos. You know, I don't know if everybody realizes, like, some of these kids are going to get picked up. Some won't. Some will return to their school. It's like a gauge of interest. So I get some of that. But at the same time, you guys realize that all of these colleges are recruiting the next 3, 4, and 5 stars out of high school? What is going to happen to the development process in college sports? That's also what I'd like to know. Like, what happens there? You know, and I really do feel like some kids probably leave college too early in basketball. But in football, now we've got guys that are leaving campus. They get there as a freshman or a sophomore. They don't play a whole lot. And everybody feels like they should be on the field. You know, what's that song, Fleetwood Mac, players only love you when they're playing? I mean, that couldn't be any more true than what we find out today in 2023. And it's surprising to see the guys that will stay at a specific program and buy in. That's why I brought up the Mike Sainristil stuff. Like, he was a wide receiver. They want to convert him to defensive back. He could have left right then and there. But he said, you know what? No, if you think I can play here, I can play here. Plus, he's a wide receiver, so he's got the ball skills. That's huge. A lot of people joke around and say you play DB because you can't catch. That's why you're not a wide receiver. Well, he's a converted wide receiver. He understands the route tree from the opposite side of the ball. He understands the timing between quarterback and wide receiver better than most that play his position. I love Mike Sainristil, but that's a guy that you really want to look at like, hey, like this kid doing whatever is being asked of him, doing it at a high level. Like, he is the most Michigan man. You know, and Michigan man's just a saying. It could be a Washington man or an Oklahoma man or whatever. But, have some belief, trust the process, and go through it. And a couple of news and notes here from Major League Baseball. The Yankees are acquiring Juan Soto in a 7-player trade with the Padres. The 25-year-old will head now to the Bronx Bombers. Left-hander and former Tiger Eduardo Rodriguez, E-Rod, is going to Arizona to play for the Diamondbacks, 4 years and $80 million. And former Detroit Tiger Jamer Candelario, the Candyman, in the Reds, reached a 3-year, $45 million deal. We'll step aside. More X's and Bros next. Michigan Sports Network.
It's time to go in the huddle. 1, 2, 3, top flight!
It's a new day to celebrate and be free. It's a new day full of action and excitement because it's a new day for winning only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. It's a new day. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com. The 2023 college football season has come to a close with championship weekend delivering all the drama anyone could ask for. Unless, of course, you're Florida State. The Seminoles have become the first and likely the only team to complete an undefeated regular season in the Power 5, win their conference championship game, and get held out of the college football playoff. Michigan was ranked 1, followed up by Washington at 2, Texas at 3, and Alabama at 4. Number 3 and 4 are both 12-1, and even though they're both conference champions, since when does winning not matter? The committee failed the Noles and college football fans everywhere. It's not about who thinks who is good or not, or who is injured or not. It's about wins and losses. This is sport, for God's sake. It's not a beauty pageant.
Imagine this, a day filled with indulgence, bursting with excitement, and packed with extraordinary moments that build memories to last a lifetime. A day that is unmistakably yours, at the place that is undeniably spectacular. Whether you're winning big, dining lavishly, or relaxing oh so comfortably, it's your getaway reimagined at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort.
Huge here for Van Andel Institute Purple Community. Now, they're a grassroots fundraising network powered by the volunteers who support VAI's mission to improve health now and in the future. Learn more at purplecommunity.org. Coming up later today at 3 on The Huge Show on the Michigan Sports Network, I'll deliver huge opinions on everything you're talking about.
Can't call in? Text us using the keyword sports radio and send it to 21000 or tweet us at XB Mornings. Now, back to X's and Bros with Anthony Bellino.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Great to have you riding along with us. You know, golf season might have come to a close, but it's never too early to start thinking about your stay and play in 2024. Getting the guys trip together. Maybe you guys want to plan something. We're working on trying to plan something at Tullymore for all of you and all of our listeners for 2024. But Tullymore Golf Resort, located in Canadian Lakes, Michigan, offering not one but two championship courses, Tullymore and St. Ives, located an hour north of Grand Rapids, 30 minutes west of Mount Pleasant. And it's got the perfect spaces for your wedding event, reception, or group outing. Golf isn't your cup of tea. You can still enjoy the beautiful clubhouse and amenities of Tullymore. Visit TullymoreGolf.com, TullymoreGolf.com, or call 1-800-972-4837. That's 1-800-972-4837. Book your stay and play at Tullymore today. Freddie is on the line and would like to talk a little. Today, by the way, December 7th, so we are 82 years ago to the day, a day which will live in infamy. The bombing of Pearl Harbor, which would start the U.S. involvement in World War II. Good morning, Freddie. How are you, my friend?
Good morning, AB. I also want to talk Jets, Jets.
Bums.
Did you get that in the memo? Yeah, I know. If they were Detroit Jets, you'd be praising them.
That's not true. That's not true. Don't come out here and slander me, sir.
It's all right. At least I'm the type of person that says it to their face, not behind their back, like a lot of people do nowadays. You know, you got be honest and just say what you feel. Don't say it behind people's back. You don't got the guts. If you only got 2 Twitter followers, you got the guts to go behind the keyboard. It just shows you what kind of person you are, right? Like
that's
the
right.
One guy that was bothering me for a while. Who's that guy that was bothering me for a while?
Oh no, Big Ron. No, Big Ron's fine. He's a. I never met him in person, but he has been a Twitter troll for years. We have a good relationship on social media, Big Ron and I. He's fine.
Hey, you're a Twitter troll to me, so hey, I like you. So
and I like you too.
Well,
I don't troll you on Twitter.
Yeah, you're my guy though. I love you. I always say you're the most handsome, gifted, talented person in the TV radio business. I say it all the time. You got the whole package, my friend. Whole package.
Oh, now, look at you gassing me up like that.
I'm not going to be like the other callers who just call up and agree with everything that you say, you know. But I got to make you think a little bit. I got to make you work a little bit. I got to let you earn that big paycheck, man, that Hughes gives you. Now, first of all, I want to just talk about before. The Lions are 9-3. And they are playing the Bears on Sunday, and that's all I've been hearing on the radio is college basketball. And I mean, what are we doing here? The Lions are 9-3. We're not even talking about the Bears, and I'm not just talking about your show. I'm just talking about everyone's show. We're talking about college basketball. Who cares about college basketball in November or December, whatever month we're in? Now, I'm going to get to the Jets real quick. Now, you said put big money on Houston, okay? And I'm going to ask you, why would you say that? Because I want you to listen to Mike Lombardi a little bit, okay? You don't have to, you don't want to, but you should listen to Mike Lombardi. And you're the guy that goes in and puts all the blame on the quarterback for New York Jets. When you had your guy last week, Sterling, call in, and he says, "Man, you put Aaron Rodgers back there behind that line. Good luck." That Jets team is a mess. It's a mess. Their defense, which they were supposed to be ranked number 1 in the league, they're bottom feeders. They don't run the ball. Did everybody remember they signed Delvin Cook?
They put together an all-star team, right?
Exactly. It doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
This protection program. And I'm so glad to see people come in defense of Zach Wilson. I can't wait till he gets out of there. That GM should be fired. I got to tell you, I supported Saleh. He went to my high school. By listening to him at press conferences, I'm going to tell you, he's a hot mess.
He lost his juice.
What happened to him?
He lost his juice.
He lost he lost his juice. I will tell you, one thing people don't talk about, and because I read a lot, and I remember when this happened. When he came from San Francisco, he brought that offensive coordinator with him, highly touted. I forgot his name right now, but he was killed in a bike accident weeks before training camp. And people don't talk about that. They were really good friends. He was a highly touted offensive coordinator. He died in a bike accident. And I don't think he's been the same since. Because he's not, that's not Robert Saleh that I saw on the San Francisco sidelines. That's not him. And now in a press conference, he's contradicting himself. He's shaving his beard. He's growing his beard. What are you doing? I mean, you're gonna see Nathaniel Hackett there for a 1-year contract. They're gonna make a 1-year run. Aaron Rodgers, screw him. But anyway, let's get to the Pistons. Listen, there's nothing to say about the Pistons. They're a mess. I gotta tell you, they're a mess. But I will tell you, I was watching the game a little bit yesterday. I didn't realize Br0's played for the Memphis Grizzlies. Now there's a guy. I think they should just go trade and get him. Okay? There's a guy. No. Bring him in. Bring him as a point guard, veteran guy. Bring him in and start getting some veterans on his team. Anthony, they're a mess. They need some. I mean, Br0's did pretty good when he was here. You know.
I like Derrick Rose a lot. The issue is we put together, I think, a relatively talented group of young people that have no idea how to win basketball games. They just don't. Asar Thompson is brought in, and we gotta figure out. Monty's got to stop tinkering around with the starting lineup. Like, here's your starting lineup. Let me just do your job for you. Jalen Duren hurts his ankle last night. That's bad, but he's your starting center. Bojan Bogdanovic is your 4. Asar Thompson's your 3. Jaden Ivey's your 2. And Cade Cunningham is your point guard. That's your starting lineup. Period. End of story. 30 minutes a night for all 5 of those guys every single night if you want to try to win games. They have to find some cohesion. And Bogey is the only person old enough to drink on this entire team. Like, Asar Thompson was playing glorified high school travel basketball last year. Like, I don't expect him to come out and shoot 40% from 3. It's not going to happen. But what I do expect is for Jaden Ivey, who was the number 5 pick in the draft, you look at the number of games he started last year versus what he's doing this year. Why are we unloading the bench all at one time? We get a lead, we have to grow the lead. You can't say, okay, time to put in the bench. Like, this isn't CYO. Like, I'm looking at Monty Williams right now, and I got a lot of questions, a lot. And I get you're trying to figure it out, but, this fan base is too proud to have this happen.
Yeah, Anthony, yesterday, too. I mean, Bogey, how many bricks he shot yesterday when it came to three-pointers? And
he was 4 of 8. He shot 50%.
I saw him shoot. He was missing them. Now, Isaiah Livers, I've never seen him make a three-pointer. He shoots threes all the time. I like the kid. But, man, can he stop shooting three-pointers? I don't know, man. I agree with you. You got to get one line up and just stick with it. But I just think, is Cade Cunningham really a point guard? Shouldn't he be playing the 2, and they should get a veteran point guard here? I mean, is Cade Cunningham a point guard? I don't know.
I don't know either at this point. I don't know anything.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Well, anyways, yeah. All right. Well, listen, I don't want to suck up all the air like all the other callers say I do. So I appreciate it, and have a good Thursday. Is it hump day or whatever it is? I don't know what it is.
No, yesterday was hump day, middle of the week. Today's Thursday.
Thursday. See you guys.
All right.
Bye.
Take care, Freddie. I mean, do you run Killian at the point and Ivy at the 2 and Cade at the 3? Do we do that? Do we? You can tinker all you want to, but tinker with the 5 guys that are going to be playing. There's no, like, Marcus Sasser getting time I have no problem with. Like, Alec Burks, 1 of 6. Jaden Ivey doesn't play the whole first quarter. More on this when we return here. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for Urban U. They are Michigan's favorite med spa locations throughout West Michigan and also on the east side of the state in Northville. And this is for any guy listening right now or lady. If you want the perfect holiday gift for somebody you care about, you need to think about the holiday specials happening at theurbanu.com. That's theurbanu.com. And for the holidays, Urban U is offering holiday tiers. Until December 30th through the end of the year, purchasing a holiday tier is the perfect way to treat yourself or that person in your life that you care about or your family. And you get your holiday gift shopping done quick at theurbanu.com. And what are holiday tiers? Holiday tiers are the best way to get rewarded big time for investing in your health, wellness, and beauty services. Simple and easy. If you want to take care of everything for the holidays, go to theurbanu.com.
Hi, I'm Casey. I don't just work at Meijer, I shop there. Get a $10 coupon like I just did when you spend $100 or more this week in store. Print it at checkout. Start redeeming next week. And get a Meijer spiral sliced ham for 89 cents per pound with M-Perks. Discount automatically applied when you enter your M-Perks ID Limit 1. And save even more with M-Perks with $1 off per gallon of gas. Get the same low prices in store and online. For big deals and great quality, shop Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meijer app.
The Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation is dedicated to providing support to families and Michigan schools touched by autism. We invite you to join us in supporting these families and schools by making a donation at freddythepizzaman.com. With your donation, you can help provide essential resources that can make a real impact. Visit freddythepizzaman.com to make a donation and to learn more about the foundation's mission. That's FREDI thepizzaman.com. Together, we can make a difference.
miss any of today's show? Find our podcast and listen on demand on Google, Apple, Spotify, the iHeartRadio app, or wherever you get your podcasts. Now, back to X's and Bros with Anthony Bellino here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here, X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. You know, in the NBA, the game can change in an instant unless it's the Pistons. But no matter how the action unfolds, you know DraftKings Sportsbook has your back this week. New customers can score $150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on basketball. Win or lose, you get an instant dub. Best of all, it's safe, secure, and reliable, folks. With 24/7 support, you can deposit, withdraw your cash whenever, wherever you want. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use the promo code HUGE. New customers get $150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on basketball. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook, only using the promo code HUGE. The crown is yours. Now, if you or somebody who has a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline, 800-270-7117. Must be 21 plus, physically present in Michigan. Eligibility, deposit restrictions do apply. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball. Terms. Welcome back here. Great to have you with us. Text the keyword sports radio. Send that to 21,000. Give us a dial on the Meijer Supercenter guest line, 866-838-4843. 866-838-4843. Danny and Brighton, what's going on this morning?
Anthony, what is up, my man?
Just my blood pressure.
So I got it. Before anything else, those 9 o'clock Michigan tip-off games have to be the bane of your existence.
They're the worst. What do you mean? I don't. Why would anybody do that?
That's what I mean. It's just, especially with your schedule. I mean, I know how I felt, after I saw you on Tuesday when I got up Wednesday morning. Like I got run over by a Mack truck, and you got up and were on the air. And I'm like, dude, props.
Just grind it out. Shep used to do when Shep used to host this show. He would have West Coast Red Wings games. It's starting at like 10 o'clock, 10:30. And he would be in studio for Bally Sports and rise and shine the next day. Look, I know what manual labor looks like. I know what that looks like. And I am blessed beyond belief to have this job. Trust me. And for all I might complain about the hours, but the job, I'm sitting down. I'm not really doing anything. You know what I mean? You got to keep it all in perspective.
No, right. Absolutely. I mean, not every job is ideal, and everybody can complain about something. However, the umbrella is, the 24,000-foot view. Are you happy every day? Yes. And, speaking of which, after that crushing, loss to Indiana, just that deflating, still enthusiastic when he closed out and, said goodbye to everybody. And, and it's interesting because Michigan kind of sort of reminds me of the Pistons, although I think Michigan is better. They don't know how to win a close game yet. The Pistons just don't know how to win. And I'm wondering, because, I do not follow the NBA at all. I just know Detroit's lost 18 in a row. And that's you would think after 18 games you would trip over 2 wins just because. And
they should have tripped over it last night. They should have tripped over it last night. That lineup that Memphis trotted out there, and watch Desmond Bain go for 50. The guy had 49, 6, and 8 last night on 19 of 31 shooting for the field, 4 of 8 from 3, and a perfect 7 of 7 from the stripe. The dude scored 49 points and was a -1. Jaren Jackson Jr., 24 and 4. That was their whole team. They could not stop Desmond Bain. That to me, it's just the most frustrating, aggravating thing because that's the win you're supposed to trip over. Memphis isn't anywhere near full strength. And they went out there and just slapped the Pistons around. For Michigan, Doug McDaniel's not going to go 3 for 14. That's and it really should have. Or what was it? Was he 3 for 14 or 3 for 13? Whatever it was, in the hook shot that he hit off the high glass never should have went in anyways. But he's not going to have a bad shooting game like that. Michigan should have won that game. They were up 2 and they played atrocious in the first half. Terrace Reed's going to get his hands back. I promise you. It's going to work out. First things first. Catch the ball. The post-entry passes, we got to stop throwing it at his ankles. We got to give him a catchable ball, and he's got to catch the ball first and gather himself. Take a deep breath. Everything's going to be fine. feel where the pressure's coming from. He's struggling a little bit. When you struggle, you start to think. When you think, you start to panic, and that's never good. We need him to be much more reactionary to what's going on and just play his game. I'm going to give Terrace Reed a pass. I think he's going to be a wonderful player moving forward. I'm not going to, throw any shade at him. He's fine. They got to get some guys in the program though. This whole, transfer portal Band-Aid thing, I love Olivier Kamwa. I think he's great. I like Trey Jackson. I think he's athletic as hell. And Jalen Llewellyn, he's able to come back and give Doug a little reprieve there. Namari Burnett, we're talking about a lot of guys that are going to be one and done with this program. Jawan's got his hands full.
So, and that's kind of along with the line with the Pistons. So, you have some decent players that you picked in the portal, but you're not building any kind of culture. And what I've seen from the Pistons for the last 2 years plus is the culture of losing. You walk on the floor every night, and it doesn't matter who's playing. You have this mindset that you're going to lose. And when I look at that, I have to look at Troy Weaver and say, and I heard you say earlier, you said, you think that the Pistons have a decent collection of young talent. And my question is, do they really? Or do they have a decent collection of names that you've heard of? And I don't know the answer to that, but that's what I'm beginning to wonder. I heard Freddie ask the question, is Cade Cunningham this or this? Is he really all that? I keep looking at different things that Weaver does. And then I go back to 2 years ago when Brad Holmes was, when the Lions won 3 games, and Brad Holmes was just filling holes with players. But the players he filled the holes with, you saw, competed. And the Lions actually had a chance to win and actually won games with, fourth-string players because he had that eye for talent. And what I'm wondering is, does Troy Weaver really have an eye for talent? Does he really know what kind of basketball team he wants to put on the floor? Or is he just picking names and saying, I've heard of this guy, or this guy looks good, this guy looks good? Does he fit in with the overall structure of the type of team the Pistons are supposedly trying to be, which I couldn't tell you? Similar with Michigan. I kind of get the idea of what Michigan is. One of the things we noticed with Indiana is in the first half, they didn't go inside it out. You could see they're spreading out the court and the lane is wide open because apparently that's just not who they are. While Indiana, we're going to pound it inside because we've got these two giants that we're just going to work on. But at least Michigan knows this is what our identity is. This is what we're going to work on. What is the Pistons' identity besides losing 18 in a row?
Well, they don't. I do think that they do have a solid eye for talent. I think that Jalen Duren is a franchise player. I mean, he's everything I want in a big man in today's game, right? Because he doesn't need the ball, but he can get you 7. He went 17 and 11 in 30 minutes last night before he hurt the ankle. I do like Asar Thompson. I think but the guy's playing, elevated high school basketball last year. You know what I mean? So it's okay, I don't expect him to shoot, 40% from the field in his first season. I like Jaden Ivey. Those three right there, I can really build around. Cade Cunningham, I'm losing faith in. Killian Hayes is a reserve. He's a rotational player. Isaiah Stewart is a rotational player. Boyan is the certified shooter. Got to find somebody else to get in there with them and mix it up. They have to find if it's and that's my 5. So who else is going to go out there? I don't know why we're not playing that lineup. Here's the pieces you have. Cade, who can control and play at his own pace. Ivy, who can get downhill and run. Boyan, who could shoot. Asar, who can defend. And Jalen Duren, who can clean up. That's a pretty good semblance of a team. But get them out there and play together. Play more than 15 minutes a night together. My God, it's driving me crazy, Danny.
And I don't know what the rationale behind that is. It makes no sense because, you spent the mega bucks to bring in, quote, the coach, unquote, and, let's face it, I sell food. I have no idea how to run a basketball team, but I'm if I've got a young team, the only way my young team is going to learn how to win is if they play. And they're not going to learn how to win by playing 18 minutes a game. They're just not. They, just have to get them. And that's one of the things about the Lions that you notice is I'm playing, he's playing young guys and he's playing them a lot. All right, go out and show me what to do. Because I know he knows what to do. I know Jack Campbell knows what to do. I know Aiden Hutchinson knows what he's supposed to do. I know Brian Branch knows what he's supposed to do. Those are first and second year guys that you've plugged in and they're battle, game, tested, ready, because they were the right guy. And again, I just keep going back to I know you like Ivy and you like Jalen Duren. Fine. Let's find out if over 30, 35 minutes, are you the guy? Are you the guy that's going to make the shot, that's going to help make the defensive stop, get the big rebound? Are you that guy? I think the Pistons really need to find that out, because you mentioned 5 guys. Don't you need like 9 in the NBA to win? Who's coming off the bench to spell those guys for the 15 or 18 minutes to give them the breather, which it doesn't seem like we have. We have reserves that are average. When the Lions bring in their reserves, they're not average. They're ready to play.
Yeah. I like the Lions comparison there, because the rookies that they have brought in, they've identified the talent. Now, obviously, it's different with roster construction and the amount of guys you need on the team and everything else. But I look at what Brad Holmes has been able to do, and you look at the 4 picks, the first 2 rounds last week. Jack Campbell playing arguably his best game of his young career. Brian Branch with the interception, Jahmyr Gibbs with the explosive, Sam Laporta has a career day, 9 catches, 140 and a touchdown. And that's all on the heels of, Aiden Hutchinson getting double and triple teamed every single play. Amon-Ra St. Brown flying around out there. Penei Sewell, Ali McNeil gets hurt, unfortunately. They've got a lot of players that they have put out there on this field in a really quality mix. But you have Jack Campbell to pair with a veteran like Alex Anzalone. And Anzalone's having, he's been great in Detroit, flying all over the field making tackles. Anzalone's been sensational. And the whole time that's happening, one thing we aren't talking about is something we don't see. And it's how Anzalone, who was the team leader in tackles last year, has a sensational year, was brought here as a veteran for a reason, how he is mentoring Jack Campbell and how much Jack Campbell will benefit from playing with a guy like Alex Anzalone, along with a guy like Derek Barnes, who, sure, it took him a couple more years than maybe what people had hoped for, but he's figured it out. I don't love him in coverage, but I love what he can do in the run game, and I love his sideline to sideline speed. So you have all of these different things coming together where you're constructing a roster, you're adding quality, veteran leadership. That's how you do it. And the Pistons just have not done it. They thought they were going to, Alec Burks, is he a guy? Kevin Knox, is he a guy that anybody's going to listen to? No. And everybody else, outside of Bojan, is Bojan going to be able to sit down and are guys going to really listen to what Bojan is saying? I don't know. But they definitely need it. Danny Brightman, I appreciate the call this morning. Thank you. Love the parallel there.
Actually appreciate it, man. And like I said, I always appreciate the fact that you always grab me 5 minutes whenever I come to the game to say hi, and you're righteous too, but I'll see you soon.
See you soon, my friend. I always try to make time for everybody. As long as I'm not in the middle of something. Then I really can't. I can't do 2 things at once. But this is a mess. And I talked a little bit about it earlier. And the idea between rotational and reserve. Who's your rotation? Who are your reserves? The Wiseman experiment doesn't really work. We whiff there. I like Isaiah Livers a lot. I don't know if he's a rotational guy at the NBA level, especially if he's not shooting it well. If he's shooting 25% from 3, as a team, they're 11 of 35. Burks was 1 of 5. Ivy's 1 of 3. 1 of 4 from Asar and Livers. 1 of 3 from Hayes and Stu. 1 of 5 from Cade Cunningham. My God, if you take away the 4 makes from Bojan there, that's a disaster. It's a disaster. And Bojan finishes with 22, 4, and 7, along with 3 steals. That right there. Play him as a small power forward. Play him as a quote-unquote stretch 4. Let Jalen man the paint. Get Asar and Jaden Ivey out there. You're so quick to pull the plug on a guy who started 73 games or whatever it was last year in Jaden Ivey. But you have the longest leash in the world for Killian Hayes. Well, Killian Hayes is playing really well. Sure, great. Good. 12-4-4 is really well for him. The guy we should have drafted goes for triple doubles with no turnovers. So you tell me. Like 12, 4, and 4 are great numbers for Killian Hayes off the bench in 20 minutes. In a rotational role, much like beef stew, in a rotational role, coming in for your starters. You know, and it's so easy to point to what's going on across the street at Ford Field and say, that's how you're supposed to construct this thing. You dealt your franchise quarterback to bring in another veteran quarterback and build up some draft capital, right? Your veteran quarterback is doing a hell of a job right now commanding this offense. You went out there and you addressed some positions, and even when people had questions over what in the world are you doing taking a guy like Jameson Williams, who's injured, James Mitchell, who's injured, right? Josh Paschal, injured. Like, maybe it's not the best thing to do. Levi Onwuzurike can't stay healthy. J-Mo's starting to come around. We're starting to see, like, yeah, now he's starting to look, a little bit more like a second-year player because of all the amount of time that he's missed. You look at how do you have Taylor Decker and Jonah Jackson, holdovers, Frank Ragnow for the previous group. Like, okay. So then you draft a guy like Penei Sewell, and when everybody was telling you to you move on from Decker, no, you have your bookend tackles. He can play the right tackle. He can do it. You go out and get a vet like Hal Vaitai. You go get a sixth offensive lineman in Graham Glasgow. You draft a tight end in Sam Laporta that's on pace to have a historical year. You move on from Jamal Williams, get a more productive running back in David Montgomery who can provide the same that Jamal did, and you complement that with Jahmyr Gibbs, and we're seeing the full repertoire of what Gibbs can do. You drafted Amon-Ra St. Brown, an absolute steal in the 4th round. Right? Wide receiver's a big question mark. So you draft Jameson Williams. You bring in a guy like Josh Reynolds. You have Khalif Raymond. You have built an offense that has depth, and that has some guidance and some leadership. And now it's time to work on the defensive side of the ball. Oh, a young fellow with 8.5 sacks last season and about half the season of play because it took him a little bit longer to get on the same page. He's not even there. He's not even available. And he'll be back for a playoff push. That's what it sounds like. The reports are James Houston will be back. And, I mean, my God, one speed, go. Right at the quarterback. Doesn't matter. Don't have to do anything else but get after the quarterback. Do what you do and do it the best of your ability. You add Bruce Irvin, immediate sack, right? We know we need help. C.J. Gardner-Johnson was supposed to be in that back end. Kirby Joseph, Tracy Walker, you have depth. We talked about at the beginning of the season. You're adding veteran players to a core group of youngsters that are going to be the foundational pieces of this team moving forward. So you compare that to the Pistons. Like, where are the veteran leaders of this group? We'll be back tomorrow. Same time, same place. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Deck your cart with Meijer savings.
This year, give the gift of savings from Meijer.
Santa Bucks will save you plenty.
Plus, stack your savings when you shop super low prices with the Meijer Super Sale.
Ho, ho, ho! Savings for all!
Don't wait to shop and save with Super Sale and Santa Bucks this Friday and Saturday only at Meijer. Plus, get a $10 coupon when you spend $100 or more this week in store. Print it at checkout. Start redeeming next week. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meijer app.
Get your groove on. Friday, December 15th at Soaring Eagle Casino. Robin Thicke. Same show, same night, Montel Jordan. Tickets start at $53. On sale now at the box office and etix.com. Party hard. Slide into smooth. Robin Thicke and Montel Jordan. Friday, December 15th at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort.
Huge here for my friends from Coppercraft Distillery. Now, they're a Michigan-based company, and they have a message for anybody 21 and up. You're going to want to get hooked up with this Honolulu Blue, a premium can cocktail. Vodka, blue raspberry lemonade. This special limited edition can cocktail is available at local stores, pubs, and restaurants. And when you're cheering on our favorite pro football team, TDs, tailgates, and more. Make sure you grab a Honolulu Blue from Coppercraft Distillery.
Merc Perks from Mercantile Bank is here. Merc Perks checking has all you need to plan your busy lifestyle. Travel services for hotels, airfare, and cruises, cash back rewards, and even savings on prescriptions, eyewear, and dental work. Merc Perks also includes all the traditional benefits you love, like online and mobile banking, and fee-free access to almost 40,000 MoneyPass ATMs. So when you're ready for perks, Merc is here. Learn more at mymercperks.com, member FDIC.
Roast Umber is a farm direct coffee sourced from Central American farmers and roasted in Grand Rapids. And also the Nitro Cold Brew Coffee is a convenient and healthy option for energy with no sugar additives. Look for it at your local retailer or at roastumber.com.
It's as easy as 1, 3. Wait, that's not how it goes. It's 1, 2, 3, like this. The Michigan Association of Chiefs of Police wants you to remember, always wear your seatbelt. Make it part of your routine. Just like that. Got it? Seatbelts save lives, and using them is as easy as 1, 2, 3.
Huge here. AB's doing a heck of a job, and I'm ready to drop some huge opinions about what he's talking about later today at 3 on the Michigan Sports Network.